Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something pretty cool. We're going to visualize how we think. Literally, we're going to draw a map of the mind. You've been there, right? You look at a problem one way, your friend sees it completely differently. One of you sees this straight, logical line. The other sees this tangled web of possibilities. So, what if we could actually draw that out? What if we could map those different thought processes? That's what we're diving into.
So that's what this explainer is all about. We're going to look at a really powerful model that comes from graph theory of all places. And it does exactly this. It takes something as abstract as thinking and turns it into a visual map. A map of our ideas and all the little roads that connect them.
Okay, so to read these maps, you only need to know two things. Super simple. You have nodes. Those are your ideas, your concepts, your facts. And you have edges. Those are just the connections, the little mental pathways between those ideas. That's it, nodes and edges. Let's see what this looks like in action. All right, first up, we've got a thinking style that's like a master architect or a precision engineer. It loves to build these incredibly detailed, super rigorous logical systems. In this model, we call it introverted thinking, or TI for short. So what does the map for this precise builder look like? Well, imagine a chain of islands, an archipelago of ideas. Each island is its own little world. Inside that world, the logic is just perfect. Every idea is bolted to the next, making it this super consistent, self-contained system. But, and this is key, look how few bridges there are between the islands. This way of thinking is all about depth and making sure each individual system is flawless, not necessarily about connecting everything together. And this sets up a really stark contrast. On one hand, you have the precise builder creating these perfect, walled-off gardens of logic. But the next style we're going to look at, it does the exact opposite. It's not interested in walls at all. It's all about weaving one giant, single web to see how everything connects. The ultimate big picture. And that brings us to our second style, the visionary web. This is modeled as introverted intuition, or NI. And you'll see right away, its map looks nothing like the first one. I love how the source material puts this. It says, this style doesn't build its worldview piece by piece, brick by brick, like our builder. No, it just leaps. It leaps straight to the big, overarching pattern, seeing the final picture almost instantly. So the NIM map is this one giant, sprawling spider web. Everything is kind of connected to everything else, but most of those connections are really weak, almost like a faint whisper in the back of your mind. The real magic, though, is in a few special connections, these super strong bridge pathways. And those are what allow for those incredible aha moments, where your brain suddenly connects two ideas that seemed miles apart. Okay, so how does that happen? How does your mind make one of those incredible leaps and find that magic bridge? Well, the model breaks it down into a really fascinating four-step process. It all starts with a hunch, just this gut feeling that two totally separate ideas, let's call them A and Z, are somehow connected. Then your brain goes to work, kind of subconsciously searching for a path to link them. And when it finds one, boom, a feedback loop kicks in. The path itself gets stronger, the original hunch gets stronger, everything lights up. And finally, that new connection becomes so solid, it's like putting on a new pair of glasses. It actually starts to filter how you see things, making you notice all the data that supports his new pattern. Okay, so we've seen the deep diving builder and the big picture web weaver. But what's really cool is how this graph model can map out other thinking styles too. It's actually incredibly versatile. So for example, let's take introverted sensing, or PSI. This model maps it as a high-fidelity database. Thinking for this style is like zooming in on a specific, super detailed memory or fact. Then there's extroverted thinking, T. That one's like a flow chart, always looking at the world and asking, what's the most efficient way to get from A to B? And then we have another web thinker, extroverted intuition, or NI. But this web is different. Its whole purpose is to grow, to expand outwards, constantly jumping from one subject to another, exploring all the new possibilities. And this is a really important point to get. We've got two kinds of webs, NI and NI, and they explore in totally opposite ways. NI, the one we saw earlier, does what you might call a deep dive. It picks one topic and just digs and digs and digs, deeper and deeper until it finds one single elegant answer. But Ni, it does a broad scan. It's like skipping a stone across a lake, jumping from topic to topic, making all these sprawling connections between different areas. So one goes deep, the other goes wide. Same tool, totally different strategy. All right, so we've looked at all these different mental maps. The builder, the web weaver, the database. What does it all mean for you and me? Let's bring it all together. Now, it's super important to remember the point of this isn't to put people in boxes. To say, oh, you're this and that's it. Not at all. These are just models. They're metaphors, but they're really useful maps for helping us understand just how differently we all think. It gives us a way to talk about it, to appreciate that someone else's mental wiring might be completely different from ours. And that's not just okay, it's beautiful. So I'll leave you with this question. Which map feels the most like home to you? Are you that precise builder, carefully laying down one logical brick at a time? Are you the visionary, weaving that giant web of insight? Maybe you're the archivist with a perfect database of facts, or the strategist, drawing a flowchart for every goal. Really think about it, because understanding your own map and maybe even getting a peek at how others draw theirs, well, that could be a real game changer.